you know that this is what. I'm going to keep this.
Okay. You know what? I think I might have to
Well, no, I'm fine. Let me just copy it. Records. So I wonder if we're going to get the storms that we're supposed to do. That we were supposed to do yesterday? Yeah. That I didn't do any outside work because it was, I rushed to do it Saturday night. So that I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was,
It was nothing. It looked like it was going to rain.
Saturday with me was off. I was sitting, I can't remember what it was doing, but I was leaning forward and she was like, somebody called back, I looked out. There was a hawk sitting on my neighbor's shed, and the Swifties were coming around because of her head as she was doing this. Big old hawk. She's afraid of these little Swifters. And I thought, well, maybe she'll just reach up and grab one.
Right.
I don't think she has the balance. I don't think she has the balance to do that. Hi, this is Amy, the city report. How are you? I was wondering if you can make the fire station's building board meeting on Tuesday. We have 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or 4 o'clock. What's best for you? You did? I wonder if you got caught in spin. I think you're getting caught in my spin. On Tuesday, okay. All right. Okay, I'll go ahead and send out an email because John said he's available Tuesday until it's open. So I'll go ahead. 2 o'clock? Okay, all right, we'll do 2 o'clock then. And then I'll send out an email to the other 2. And we'll see how at 2 o'clock here, you know? Okay, great. Thank you.
Ms. Fitzgerald, can I turn this in as well?
Sure.
This is a public records request for any and all dispatch logs, CAPS logs, case reports, incident reports, supplemental reports, emails, text messages, internal memos pertaining to Michael Adam Christensen from January 2017 through the present.
Okay.
You guys prefer I use this form? My handwriting's a little bad today, so just want to make sure.
Okay. Yep.
But I'm assuming since he's a registered sex offender that was running through the town pretty much doing everything but waving his private parts, that there was some sort of investigation. I mean, I've got 21 pages on my YouTube alone. I presume there has to be hundreds of pages against an actual offender against children. Or maybe I'm correct and the LaPorte Police Department never actually did anything because they were too busy fucking with me, instead of actually, finding real criminals that are threats to LaPorte's community. But you're welcome. I don't know if you have grandchildren, but
Yes, I do. Not here, but
wasn't a good place for them up until a little while ago. Our local authorities were, letting a child rapist run around and calling it First Amendment protected activity. Being that everything I do is First Amendment protected activity, this is seriously going to bite you guys in the ass. Because I kind of exposed him over 1.5 years ago, which means there's no way that the North Carolina FBI should have been the ones doing the LaPorte Police Department's job. But again, you're welcome. I apologize that I haven't been very forthcoming about First Amendment protected activity and what exactly it doesn't cover. I'm always telling you guys what it does, but it definitely doesn't cover that. So if we could go ahead and get me those records, and maybe me and the LaPorte Police Department can have a conversation about the First Amendment. Because if it doesn't apply to me, I'd like to know why it applies to sex offenders who are taxpayer funded committing nonprofit fraud. So, again.
Okay. You like to have a seat?
Yep.
Okay.
But specifically, I still would like to talk to Mr. Otis.
Yeah, you'll be up.
I mean, being that I'm getting like public accommodations and shit, I'd kind of like to wrap this bullshit up you guys are doing so I can move on with my life. But if you guys want the paperwork side, I can do that too. I'm just sort of, this is my last informal request.
Okay.
I'd like to live in the city unhindered by ignorance from the LaPorte Police Department. Being that I've pretty much proven them ignorant at this point in time.
Well, they're not ignorant, but
They're ignorant of what the First Amendment applies to. It definitely doesn't apply to fucking kids, I know that. But it does apply to this. It applies to this camera, it applies to those public records requests. So being that they've been going at it with me for about 4 years, and I'm not an actual threat, but they ignored an actual threat so that they could focus on me. Yeah, that's ignorant. It's really ignorant.
Chris, how can I help you?
Mr. Otis, I would like to know how we can go ahead and move forward, all of us. I'm not exactly understanding how to do it the correct way. I'm to the understanding that specifically the city of LaPorte believes that I'm banned from this building. And I would like to contest that. I'd like to have my due process sort of honored.
What goes on in the court cases is not anything I have to do with. So if you have no contact orders.
Well, I'm not referring to a no contact order, sir. I'm referring to a letter from the city attorney. That's
I've
not a
never
no
issued
contact
you
order. I know you haven't. The previous city attorney did. You keep quoting this one in court and saying that I'm trespassed from the building. However, I'm trying to figure out how I'm trespassed from the building because I was never issued a ticket for loitering.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Chris. You're here right now. You're not trespassing, but if you don't have a reason to be here, a meeting set up, and you're asked to leave and you don't leave, that is trespassing.
No, it's not.
Chris, we're not acting on whatever letter.
We're acting on the letter of the law. You're right. It's called Indiana v.
Right.
Brewington.
I'm not here to argue
There's all
with
kinds
you.
of cases.
What
Not
is
Brewington,
the
but,
point of what do you want to
McBride.
meet with me about today?
I'd like to know how I can appeal this trespass.
There's nothing to appeal. You're here. We're talking. Chief Owens is not arresting you for trespassing right now. If you have business,
So you're going to drop my charges then for this
he
bullshit no
doesn't have it.
trespassing?
He's not the prosecutor. He doesn't drop the charges.
Okay.
And that the trespass, as I understand it, has nothing to do with that letter. It has to do with the officer telling you you needed to leave.
Right.
And you
I have to
refused
commit an
leave.
ordinance violation
No,
before you can
Chris,
ask me
I'm
to
not here
leave.
to argue about that.
I mean,
meeting with
I'll
you.
argue it in court. I'm giving you this informal opportunity.
I don't know. I have nothing to do with your court cases. I'm not.
I'd like to be charged for every other time I was in the building. So you can go ahead and
We're
fucking
not.
book
We're
me
not
for...
charging you, Chris.
No. I'm
right.
currently
It's not
being
working that way.
prosecuted.
Chris?
All right. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome.
Chris, if
Just
there's
the
nothing
same.
else you want to meet with, I'm telling.
I don't think you can trespass me from the building without...
We can if you don't have a legitimate
I do.
business
Okay,
purpose
but
to be here.
right, and you have to cut out that legitimate business purpose, which is loitering. You have to
I
issue
don't-
me a
what are you
ticket for...
talking about? No, we don't.
I'm talking about the
Mix
case
city
law.
ordinance with the state statute.
Right.
We don't mix those two.
Right. I have to have... Listen to what I'm explaining to you, because you'll look into this. I get that he's very confident and cocky. He's not going to look into this. I was raised in Kokomo, Indiana. You can look up the case precedent. This is where this was decided, at Studebaker Park in Kokomo, Indiana, 90 feet from my childhood home. You have to... you cannot ban me from a public place until I commit an ordinance violation that you can... I mean...
It's not true. If you're here without a legitimate... Any person, not
Enjoy
just
court.
Christopher
Enjoy
Throckmorton.
court, because you'll fucking be there for that. So enjoy court.
Chris, it's
but
not just
you'll be
you.
there
If
too.
somebody
So how do
refuses
I
to
no
leave a
longer
public
deal with
building-
you? Because I don't want to. I think you're a conflict of interest because I'm currently charged with intimidation on you.
What is it you
So
want to deal with?
I think
You've
you're a
asked-
conflict
I've
of interest.
answered your question.
I think your answers are tainted by your
All right.
bias.
Chris, we're done with this meeting.
So how do
You
I
need to
interact
leave.
with somebody else?
Because I got to talk to
Yeah.
you. That's why.
You're-
So
You
I'm
need to leave.
now I need to leave. What does that mean?
We have no business reason
Is
to
there
meet with
anything
you.
else that you?
So
that
what
they
what
can
happens if
help
I
you
sit down? I'm
need-
trespassing.
No,
You guys are going to jump right to
refuse to
trespassing?
leave after
Okay, I'm
you've
not
been ordered
refusing
to
to leave.
leave.
How are you ordering me to leave? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
with? Haven't
So-
ordered you yet.
Okay, you can't order me. So,
Yeah.
are you ordering me as the agent of this property?
Yes, he can
No, he
order
can't.
you to leave.
No, he
All
can't.
right, we're not going to argue
Watch.
with you. All right.
I mean, I'm charged right now. Convict me then, smart motherfuckers. Anyway, you're welcome. Just so you know, this pedophile shit is going to bury you. I tried to give you guys the opportunity to fix it, but you're gonna target me for my First Amendment shit by protecting this motherfucker. I'm gonna bury you.
Oh, okay.
With
That was
legally,
the feds, not
legally.
you.
No, watch, mother. Yeah, it's a shame that the feds had to come do your job for you, bruh. But whatever. Keep supporting kid fuckers. Mr. Galloway. You want to go do some freedom shit with all that, I know.
I don't know what's going on.
I keep trying to get the police to alert to pedophiles in the town, you know what I mean? But they think he's... Yeah, I know there's a bunch of them. I exposed a big one that's been running around for a year and a half.
Huh.
But I know you're like this veteran badass dude. You always talk to me about that. So, like, what happens when the police refuse me giving them evidence of this shit for a year and a half? And then the FBI makes everybody look stupid. That's what I'm saying is, how do I expose? How is it my First Amendment protected activity is targeted by the police, but then a pedophile, that's what I'm saying. The police are protecting a motherfucker who likes to fuck kids, so the FBI is going to make you look real stupid, especially since I'm going to be real vocal about how I informed the city of LaPorte about this a year ago. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. See, that's what I think. I think I live in a town full of pedophiles. I don't know how a pedophile can run around safely without getting arrested while I get arrested for carrying a camera, asking for pieces of paper. Yeah, they should. They should. See, what you guys count on, though, is what society counts on is me. I've been to prison. You know, nobody has any problem throwing my prison sentence in my face when we're talking about my criminal history to try to fuck with my credibility in front of the public. But what you really count on, you normal people, what you count on is sending this motherfucker to prison so a motherfucker like me will castrate him. And that doesn't actually happen because I don't want to do the rest of my life in prison simply because nobody out here wants to mob up with pitchforks and do it themselves. So
Right.
I didn't actually kill any pedophiles in prison. What happens is they do 14 years, they come out, and then
Do it all over again.
yeah, but this time he did it tax funded. You know what I mean? Lisa Pierzakowski, the Township Center Trustee's office, yeah, she was paying him for his nonprofits. That's nonprofit fraud. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out how big of a fuck up this is going to be. Because,
Did she know it? Did she know
yeah,
it?
she knows it. Yeah.
Did
And I
she
can
know
prove
was
it,
pulling
yeah.
a fraud on?
Yeah, she did. She admits it. See,
Okay.
she's not trying to go down with the ship, so she's throwing him under the bus. But you know how I get down.
So, did you get your evidence? Of course, you give it to the county prosecutor. What do you say?
Thank you.
Really? That's a shock.
Yeah, they actually put out a public press release where they name me specifically and say thank you. They also mention how I brought it to the previous administration, Mr. Esbar. But you know, he spent like $500,000 on his Internet Crimes Children Task Force, and then he deleted like 200 gigabytes and cut the fuck out. He's currently being investigated.
Right, that's what I
But
heard.
that's what I think, Mr. Galloway. I think you live in a town full of pedophiles. See, I'm not from here, and it took me a little while to figure it out. But there ain't no way that a motherfucker can run around this town talking about fucking kids and it just be okay. But the guy with the camera, I'm treated like I'm a lunatic. But you see, apparently, my moral standards
You're higher than the
are a
other.
little bit fucking higher than everybody's. So I'm just kind of curious, where does this go with the city? Because I'm clearly not going to give up, and I'm coming for fucking heads to roll on this one. It'd be all right if you guys just targeted me for my First Amendment protected activity, but you use the exact same law that I'm quoting that everybody thinks is made up. You know, these laws that I quote about the First Amendment. You guys look at me like I'm a Looney Tune, but these are the same laws that Detective Brett Airy quoted to protect this dude. So I'm just wondering, like, how do I find out about that?
Yeah, I don't know.
How do I, like, should I just move somewhere else where not everybody's a bunch of pedophile supporters, or what?
People not doing their job is what you're saying.
Yeah. You know what the police are saying, though? They gave him enough rope to hang himself. Did you know that? Yeah, they gave him enough rope to hang himself. That's why he made it all the way to North Carolina to try to publish these books. We're talking about North Carolina. These people thought it was fucking odd and called the FBI. But nobody up here did. You know why? Because they're busy fucking with me. It's almost like if you would have been paying attention to the right shit. Here's the best part, mister. Here's the best part. You know the whole investigating me thing and my YouTube? Well, I'm investigating this pedophile. So it's going to be real hard to play stupid when you're watching my YouTube channel and say that you didn't know about Mr. Christensen because I've been talking about him nonstop. But anyway,
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
yeah,
Have a good day.
he's intimidated by me. Big 6'3" pussy.
I don't think he is.
No, I don't think he is either. I think
he's
he's
just-
I think he's a lying fuck.
I think he just kind of, I don't know.
I think the city's paying him very well to do absolutely shit. So,
Yeah, you don't state anything you say or do. You gotta make sure it's correct or the state gets you. It's like that analysis I'm filling in. The state would keep the freaking nose out of it. We would have more money. We would have more time to do stuff.
oh, I think if the state kept its nose out of it, you guys would probably steal it all. Or lose it.
Yeah, I
or who
wouldn't steal
fucking
it.
knows.
I wouldn't steal it.
Funnel it into this monopoly that we have on the drug treatment around here. Maybe, who knows. It just seems to me, man, that like you guys could fix all sorts of fucking problems that are really happening, that have real deal solutions, if you would just leave me the fuck alone. And that's all I really want, is to be left the fuck alone. I wanted to go about my business 4 years ago, and that wasn't possible. Here, let me tell you a little insider information, Mr. Galloway.
Go ahead.
I wanted nothing more but to be a father to my child. And the courts don't...
You got one?
Yeah, I have an 8-year-old.
I didn't know it.
About the same time that the LaPorte police chose to target me, I was dealing with a lot of shit. I didn't get to see my kid. I was going through all the courts process. I needed to sort of just deal with that and be upset about it and move the fuck along. You guys sort of caught me right in the anger stage. And basically, I've been fucking your shit up since then. And there's nothing that really seems to work for you guys. I don't care about going to jail. I'm like fucking Jesus in there. You know how much your freedom's worth? A lot. The guy that knows the law is like fucking God. Boyd don't even want me in there. I will bond out on you every time. You won't convict me on shit. And that's sort of what I'm just trying to figure out is there a motherfucker in this building sensible enough to understand what I'm telling him? There's no reason to pay Nick Otis $175 an hour to do all this nonsense. Because in reality, I got a whole lot of energy and I can put it towards positive shit if I wasn't fighting off a bunch of nonsensical charges and doing the fucking every law enforcement agency in the county's job for them when it comes to finding actual threats to people. You know, I'm just sort of wondering, are we doing this forever? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like, everybody blames everything on Blair and McQuaig, but you all seem to be following their suit. You know what I mean?
I have, I don't have a lot of information on what they're trying to do to you.
Currently, I'm being charged with intimidation on Nick Otis.
Really?
Yep.
How big as he is?
Yeah. That's what happens when you get a basketball scholarship to law school and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Is a 130-pound white guy. Little bitty 5'8", 130-pound white guy scares your big ass. He's so intimidated. He's not intimidated enough to be a conflict of interest and let one of the other 11 attorneys under that contract handle it. But he's intimidated. Yeah.
Why'd you hit him in the face with that? I've been wanting to ask you.
Because I have the right to record in public, and Mr. Ficus said some stupid shit on camera. Then he grabbed my wrist, and he grabbed my phone. And I'm a big fan of, if you touch my fucking property, you're probably going to get punched in the eye. Mm-hmm. You know why I don't take shit, Mr. Galloway? Because I don't want to get punched in the fucking eye. That's why I don't touch things that don't belong to me. Because I don't want a motherfucker to beat my ass over their property.
Maybe he didn't want you filming him.
Move out of America. What's that? Go to Somalia?
Hey, we got some rights too. If I don't want
No. That's the thing. And that's the thing, is don't walk around in public then. Your rights do not supersede my rights. And that's where the confusion is.
Do not supersede
they actually do. My right to record in public supersedes your feelings. You don't have a right to not be recorded in public. You don't, though. That's not an actual right. If you can quote a case law that tells me that you, as a public servant especially, can walk around in public and somehow your feelings that you don't want to be recorded matter more than Supreme Court of the United States case law,
wait a minute.
I'll happily accept that.
Your feelings mean more than mine?
They're not my feelings. That's what I'm saying. What the fuck makes you think I operate off of feelings, sir?
Well, I don't know. What gives you more rights than I have?
The courts have given you that's what I'm saying.
Have just as many
you have
rights
the
as
same
you
rights
have.
as me.
Right, that's all.
I don't have the right to not be recorded in public either. If somebody's recording me in public, I don't have the thing that I can do about it.
Okay.
And neither do you. And I mean, that's the world that we live in. And that's the thing, is this camera seems to be the one that you're focused on. You don't want to be recorded by this camera. But there's like $20,000 worth of cameras in here, and there's cameras. This is 2019 America. There are cameras everywhere.
Right.
You can't move out of the country if you don't want to be on camera.
No, they just don't
then you should
like to shoot
you
up
should move out of
Walmarts and
America.
all that stuff.
Yeah. Notice how Walmart's cameras didn't catch that.
I told them to start carrying guns. Get a permit. Carry a gun. Defend yourself.
I mean, you carry a gun.
Yeah.
Into these meetings. I've seen it. But this is what we focus on, right? You know why? Because this is a knife, right? Legally, it's not a knife. That's the thing. Is the legal definition, this is not a knife unless I intend to use it on as a weapon. Do you know what this actually is? It's a tool. You know why it's a tool, Mr. Galloway?
Right.
Because I don't want to drown in Pine Lake. I work at Pine Lake Marina. I cut rope all the fucking time.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is it's real easy when I say that I have a disability to look at me like I'm some sort of bottom-feeding tax dollar soaking up fucking piece of shit. Because I don't have a job, right?
Veterans.
Right? Because I say I have a disability, everybody assumes I don't have a job. But I've been working at Pine Lake for 5 years. Do you know how much I put into bringing people back to this community at my job? Like I don't talk to nobody down at the lake about all the bullshit you guys do. I tell them to come back because this is my community. That's what I'm saying. Is it's like you guys think you know a lot of shit about me and you know absolutely nothing. You know one side, police accountability.
I didn't say know anything about you.
This is a much more conversation than the first time we had. The first time you kind of came at me a little bit.
Yeah,
and
when you
I
said
responded.
PTSD, I was all worried.
Right, and that's what you don't understand, sir, is I have PTSD. I was trying to identify with you. I was trying to have a conversation with you about PTSD.
That's a big talk to me because of veterans.
Right, and I understand that, right. And veterans think they're the only ones with PTSD.
Yeah.
And you're not. You're not. As a matter of fact, statistically, Owen's wife is more likely to be a victim of PTSD from getting beat by him than you are, statistically. Cops and veterans' wives tend to be the ones who have PTSD the most because they get beat on by men who are held unaccountable in their professions. So the women that are married to vets and cops are actually the PTSD poster people,
My wife's
so to
pretty
speak.
good.
But yeah, I have PTSD, diagnosed for 10 years. But because I say it, you get offended. Because I can't have PTSD because I didn't fight for my rights in the jungle or some shit. But you didn't fight for my rights in the jungle either, Mr. Galloway. I wasn't even alive.
I fought for the country.
Somebody may have fought for my rights in the desert in Afghanistan, but I don't think my rights were there. As a matter of fact, I think my rights are all around me all the time. I carry them around, and if you wanted to fight for my rights, you'd actually have to fight me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, see, I carry my rights around in my pocket. I've never let them get to the desert or the jungle or anything like that.
Sorry,
I don't actually need anybody to,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I don't need anybody to go kill in my name. That's the thing. But same difference. You know what I mean? My PTSD, I went to war. You might not call it a war, but
In your own way, you did.
I did.
Okay.
I think I'm a little more traumatized than most of the vets I've met. You guys seem kind of excited about the shit that you did. I'm not really excited. I think
It's from over the years. Like I've been out like 50.
Yeah.
It never leaves you.
No, it doesn't. That's the thing. Prison doesn't either. You know, I mean, you guys don't have no problem using my background against me, filling it out there that I've been to prison, but
Whatever
I survived prison the same way you survived Vietnam.
The city attorney, the chief, and the cops. I only hear some of it, mostly from you. I'm not in on their police records.
So can I ask you a question why you went on the radio and talked about me?
I got to think back now. I've talked about so many things.
This would have been October 2017. I was locked out of this building for about 2 hours trying to get into a public meeting. This would be the same week the police let Tron Gorbancinco go and he killed 2 people. That's what I'm saying. It seems
was
like...
that when I said about you going up there and putting your knives on the desk of the...
Right, and I never did that. That's the thing is, nobody... No, can you find some proof of this shit that you keep talking about? All this shit you guys keep talking about? No, there's no proof of it. That's what I'm saying is...
She was scared to death. I know
No, she
that.
wasn't.
Yes, she was. I talked to her.
You don't wait 569 days to report something because you're scared to death. You don't wait 560, and she's an attorney. Here's the thing is, do you know when they originally interacted? Do you know I filed a complaint and I had a notice of confidentiality that I had to sign to get a copy of it? And then she waited 4 months after that when I filed a public records request. Then she said I displayed knives. So why'd she wait so long?
I don't know. You
To get
think she'd have
scared.
the police up there right away.
You'd think. How come none of these attorneys have sued me, Mr. Galloway?
I have no idea.
Because I'm lying, right? I'm lying out the side of my fucking mouth all the time, right? All this stuff I say, these attorneys and these cops are all claiming otherwise, which means I'm a liar. So how come nobody's sued me? How come an attorney ran the fuck out of town before she decided to sue me?
We ran her out.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys did.
Fucking A, we did. Her and the mayor both. They sucked.
Yeah, you could have did it publicly.
We did. Right there. Merzinski and Tim Stabos and me. We got... She goes, oh, you
So
don't
do you
know
think-
what I do for this town.
Do you think that
We got
anything
out.
that happened with me was handled incorrectly?
No, I honestly, I haven't, just hearsay,